What is the difference between a nurture sequence and a welcome sequence?
Welcome sequences are very centered around us as the business owner. While we're great and awesome and cool, people really don't care. They want to get results. So your people are looking to you as the person who could potentially help them solve this pain point. So help them to start to solve the pain point. And so I'm a fan of a nurture sequence, and specifically having a nurture sequence that has videos in it. You have to get them to the point where they're ready to say yes to your program.
What is the biggest mistake that you see people making in their emails that's just killing their sales?
They're not emailing enough. What we're told is that 20% open rate is considered good. If we think about those numbers, that means 80% of the people are not opening the emails. So if we want to capture all of those people, we have to.
Welcome back to The Art of Online Business. And if you're watching us on YouTube, then you can see that Allison Hardy is back with me. She's an email marketing strategist who helps coaches and experts enroll more clients into their courses, memberships on autopilot. And she's also the creator of the Six Figure Secrets podcast. She's a Huffington Post contributor. And like I asked her in the last episode, how did she pull this off? She actually was named one of Washington, D.C.'s most influential professionals under 40 by the Washington Life magazine. And we went into just how competitive and I guess the high quality, high caliber person that's in Washington, D.C. in our previous episode. And if you want to get to know Allison more and how she built her business, she shared some high points and some very raw low points. And that link is in the descriptions below. This is episode 2, where she's going to share the biggest email mistakes that she sees course creators making that cost them sales, along with what goes into a sales email to make it work. And get this, if you thought a nurture sequence and a welcome sequence, I'm raising my hand because I thought this, but if you thought they were the same, she's going to tell you how they're different and which one makes better sales or more sales. So Allison, good to have you back again.
Thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. It was a cool first episode. The listener should definitely listen to that. But now, what I've been waiting for is, please help us out with some email marketing. Like, first of all, what is the biggest mistake that you see people making in their emails that's just killing their sales?
Yeah, it's kind of simple. And it's really 2 things. So the first one is they're not emailing enough. So if we think about like stats on emails, what we're told is that 20% open rate is considered good. And so if we think about those numbers, that means 80% of the people who are receiving your emails are not opening the emails. So if we want to capture all of those people, we have to simply send more emails. And so what I see a lot of people doing is, let's say they have a 4-day open cart period, they're just sending 1 email a day, and that's simply not enough. And what I have found, people do that because they're afraid of being salesy or they don't want to be pushy. But if we look at like retailers like Old Navy, for example, I get at least 3 emails from Old Navy every single day, and I'm not upset by it. So like, if Old Navy can do it, you can do it too. So like, send more emails.
Wow. I went to high school with the kid of the person who invented the jingle for Old Navy.
Really?
In the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Old Navy Performance Police. Yeah, they doing all right. So anyway, you're right though. So how do you send more emails though? If that's the thing that's hurting my sales, the listener's sales, the most is not sending enough email. And you just said during a launch, 1 email per day. Okay. But how do we send more though? And how do you do it if you're not good at writing and you don't want to be salesy?
So I think a lot of times when it comes to writing sales emails, we are only thinking about them from one perspective, and it's your perspective because you're the one writing the emails, right? But there are multiple different kinds of buyers. So like, I'm the type of buyer who I like buy off the open cart email. Like if I'm paying attention to your launch, I want the thing that you've launched. Like I've already made that choice and I'm just in that launch to get like the offer, right? So I'm going to buy off of that open cart email, but not everybody operates that way. Some people need like all the details. Some people need like a connection to you. Some people need to know about client results you've helped people to achieve. Some people are like major procrastinators and need to know they have 2 hours left until our cart closes. So like if you can think about the different ways that people buy, it will help you to write those emails. So like if someone's like, been burned in the past by maybe someone else in your industry and they're like hesitant to buy, what do you need to say in order to make them feel a little bit calmer, or to help them to understand you're not that person and you can really help them do these things? So like thinking about the different types of buyers and writing to them can be a really helpful way to write more emails.
All right. What's another flaw? An email marketing mistake.
Yeah, it's not inviting people to join your course in the beginning of the email or more than once in the email. So if we're looking at habits, like I use Hotjar to record. Okay. So what it does is like records the screens and it like shows you where people, track off or what they click on, things like that.
Like a Hotjar heat map, if you will.
Yes, there we go. A heat map, that's the word. So what Hotjar has taught me is that people don't scroll for the most part. So if your call to action to buy is at the bottom of your email and they have to scroll down, they're probably not going to do that unless they're like super interested in what you have to say. So you need to put that call to action to join your thing at the top, probably in the middle, at the end of the email, and then probably in the PS. Like if you can offer them up multiple places in your emails to join your course, then like they're more likely to do it. Because also we also need to be told what to do multiple times. So by continually inviting people multiple times in the emails to join the thing, to join your course, it can really help to increase sales.
So people don't scroll when they open emails.
As a generalization, they don't. Sometimes they do. Or if they do, what a lot of people do is they open it and they immediately scroll to the bottom and they'll read the PS. And then if they decide it's worthwhile, they'll scroll back up and then they'll start to read. So the PS can actually be a really powerful tool too.
Inquiring minds, my mind, wants to know it's open cart or it's a welcome email sequence. Let's say following the email or the first email or second email, you're probably going to tell me I should sell in the first email after delivering a lead magnet. Either way, at the top of that email, without what I would call building context, how do I just make a call to action to sell or to buy what I'm selling and not have it just be like, buy my stuff? If you wish that I could just hop into your Facebook ad manager and run your ads for you, or at least download all my 3+ years of experience into your ads so that they would run the right way, you pretty much got your wish. There's a new offer that I made, and my clients so far are loving it. It's called Facebook Ads to Success, and that means for you, I can coach you one-on-one so that you can successfully run your lead generation ad campaigns, your launch registration ad campaigns, even your sales funnel, SLO, self-liquidating offer funnel ad campaign. Here's how it will work. We will have 3 calls within 30 days. During that first call, I'm going to show you the exact ways to get your account running optimally. We'll do also like analytics setup if you don't have those set up right so that your ads can function the right way. We'll also look at your funnel and I'll point out to you the areas in your funnel that could be converting better. And I'll make recommendations about how to improve those areas of your funnel. And then if you have running ads currently, we'll look at those ads. Otherwise, we'll go through all the things you need to consider before setting up your ads. In between the calls, you get unlimited access to me. That means on Slack or Voxer or even Messenger, you get to record your screen or just send me an audio messages or type something, but ask about your ads and I'll be able to give you recommendations right there. And then we'll set up the ads and then I'll show you how I check up on ads and all the moves that I would make. I'll walk you through those and teach you how to make those same moves so that you can successfully manage your own ads with confidence. Head to the link that you can see right on the screen to book your spot for Facebook ads one-on-one coaching with me. All right, back to the video.
Yeah. So if the lead magnet is set up, so they download the lead magnet, right? What I would recommend you have is a tripwire on the thank you page that sells something, a low cost, like $27 something. In the lead magnet, you should also have another opportunity to buy something. So what you need to do in your email marketing is create a culture of selling and buying. So even if they're not buying from you. You're at least selling to them, right? So okay, this person's open for business. I can buy things from them. I don't want that right now, but they're aware, right? So in that first email, or maybe the first email after the lead magnet delivery, you can say like, hey, by the way, in whatever the name of the lead magnet is, the name of the document, you probably saw an invitation to join the name of your program. If you just want to fast track this whole process and grab it, you can do that right here and just hyperlink the right here. So just like think about, like, there are some people that don't want to go through your nurture sequence. There are some people that just want to buy from you. So again, that speaks to like the buyer motivators. So like for those people, just give it to them, give them the deal, like make them the offer. And for the people that need more from you, that need to have that know, like, and trust factor stronger with you, then they can go through the nurture sequence and then they can get into that pitch sequence. But thinking about the type of buyer, like if someone just wants to buy something from you, give them the opportunity to just buy something from you.
If someone wants to buy something from you, give them the opportunity. That sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think it's just really overthought. I think a lot of people just get all up in their heads about it. And the reality of the situation is usually people are looking to solve a pain point. So if you have a way that they can solve the pain point, offer it to them in the beginning. And if they want to take action, they can take action. And if they don't, that's cool too.
And it doesn't turn off people. Or maybe if it turns somebody off, they probably weren't the right fit to do business with you anyway, though you could help them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. That's okay. I can see my lead magnet welcome sequence. I like not on my screen right now, but I can see it because writing is so difficult for me that experience of producing it is still fresh in my mind. And it looks like I need to go back yet again for the 17th time and tweak that email series.
Oh, it can be so much sometimes. Give yourself some grace.
No, but I appreciate you just saying that. And for everybody that doesn't have a tripwire, or as I like to call it, a welcome offer, a low-cost, low-ticket offer on your thank you page of your lead magnet. If you're waiting for a sign to make one, this is that sign. Let people know that you are in business and that you can serve them and give them the opportunity so you can reference it in the first email. Okay, you were going to talk about what goes into a sales email. I would love to know, like, how do you, so first of all, when you say what goes into a sales email to make it actually sell, is it a structural thing? Like, should we be writing less? Should we be writing more? Is it the length of the email? Is it just the number of call to actions, or what goes into it to make it work?
Yeah, I don't think and I don't teach like a necessary like structure of emails. I go back to that original idea I shared with the different motivators for people. So like I have an email inside of my pitch sequence called the engagement email. And this is what I teach inside my membership. So it's email number 5 in my pitch sequence. I know it like the back of my hand, but it's an email that just says like, hey, name of person. By now, you know that name of your course is open for enrollment, or you can join name of course. But I see you haven't yet. That must mean you have some questions. Hit reply and ask away. Super short, right? It's like 3 lines. But what that email does is it gets people to ask you questions. And that email is scooping up the people who just need that like extra contact with you. When I used to have a call to action in this email be like book a call. And what I found was people were booking a call out like 10 days later. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted them to like book the call for the next day, and that wasn't happening. So I probably should have put some limits on my calendar and all that. But I was like, okay, like how can I just not do the calls anymore? Is there another way I can do this? And so I just was like, let's try hitting reply and asking me questions. And more people did that because it wasn't as scary for that type of buyer who just needs like the little touch, like asking them to get on a 30-minute call was too much. So if they could just hit reply and then I could respond a few hours later, that was a whole lot better for them. It lowered their anxiety. They didn't feel so much pressure on the call. Like, oh my gosh, how's this call going to go? It was very simple and very easy. So like when it comes to those sales emails, if you can really pull out like fears people have, or objections they have, or maybe experiences they've had in the past, and just speak to those things, not like, call them out and like you always hear the like call out their pain points and stab them with it and then turn the knife. Like, we don't need to do that. But like, I hate that stuff, and most people do. And like maybe it worked a while ago, but I'm still not convinced it did. Just like think about your buyer, like put yourself in different buyers' shoes and speak to them in a way that helps them to understand that you actually do get it.
It sounds easy.
It can be if you let it.
I'm like, sounds good, but this is something that I talk about a lot on the podcast because it's really close to what makes Facebook ads work. Is we can't do that if we're not researching the person who we're working with, helping and serving, right? Like we really do have to know them in order to do what you just said.
Yeah, for sure. So when you know your ideal clients really well and you can put, maybe your program serves like 3 or 4 iterations of one person, and they're motivated in different ways. It does make writing those emails a bit easier.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I said yes, but what did you mean by 3 or 4 iterations of one person?
Okay, so like if let's say you're a macros health coach, so you help people like lose weight by counting macros. So you probably have people in your audience who have like failed at macros before, or maybe they've never heard of macros, or maybe it's just really like too complicated for them. They need someone to like hold their hand. So it's like 3 iterations of the same ideal client. So if you can speak to all 3 of those people in a singular email, that could be really helpful. Or if all of your ideal client has tried it in the past and failed, what are the different fears that they have that you can introduce into each email?
And just to clarify, by speaking to those 3 people in a singular email, you mean a different, separate email for each person?
Yes.
Okay, rather than one super email that.
No.
Just making sure. Semantics.
And so you can share, especially with like the 3 different types, like the person who failed, the person who has no idea, and the person who like it's overcomplicated for them. If you have client stories that can come in alongside of that and support that so that they're seeing themselves in those client stories, it can be a really great way to really serve them and help them.
I like it. So talking to the different iterations of your ideal customer in separate emails, adding in client stories, ideally. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a client failure story, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be. It would be a client success story. To show that you understand them and build your authority. Okay, all right, we're getting a roadmap here. Thank you. Tell me then. I'm sure people like to know numbers. I get asked this question a lot, as I'm sure you do, but what is too much? Like, how many emails in a cart open sequence? Once you've had your launch and open cart, like, how many emails do you send on the close cart day, or do you recommend people send?
Yeah. I usually do a 3-day open cart period. There's 2 on the first day, 3 on the second day, and 3 on the third day. It's always morning and evening. So like 8 a.m., 8 p.m., and then like 2 o'clock if it's 3 emails in a day. And right in the middle, on day number 2 in the afternoon is that engagement email. So the email that's like, hey, the cart's open for the program. By now you know that. You must have questions, hit reply. So that gives me time to actually answer it before the cart closes.
Nice. Would you say including like an engagement email in a lead magnet welcome sequence would be a good thing too?
Yeah. I think anytime you can talk to your people is great. So I think that's a great idea.
Okay. All right. I like this. Like, I like this. I'm thinking the look on my face is I have a lot of work to do still, but I like this a lot. Now, that one thing that really kind of blew my mind when I saw it was the difference between a nurture sequence and a welcome sequence, because I actually did not know, and thus I may have been squandering the power or just of my welcome sequence, or just I might have to really redo it from the ground up. But I'm ready. Like, what is the difference between a nurture sequence and a welcome sequence?
Yeah. So a welcome sequence, in my experience, what I have found is welcome sequences are very centered around us as the business owner, as the expert. And while we're great and awesome and cool, people really don't care. They want to get results. They want to solve their pain point. So, and also welcome sequences, what I find is they're not super strategic. They're just like, here's some helpful information. Here's a podcast episode I was on with the intention of, building clout and serving and providing value. But it's not bringing your people on a journey. So your people are looking to you as the person who could potentially help them solve this pain point. So help them to start to solve the pain point. And so I'm a fan of a nurture sequence, and specifically having a nurture sequence that has videos in it. And so what you're going to do is they're going to download the lead magnet, and then you have to get them to the point where they're ready to say yes to your program. So what do they need to know? What do they need to understand? What do they need to maybe do in order to get ready to say yes for your program. So when they're in this nurture sequence, I one time had this mastermind friend of mine, and we were talking about, I forget what we were talking about, but she was like, Allison, if you say you're going to help someone, actually help them. And I was like, well, duh. Like, what are you trying to say? And she's like, no, like you're sitting here talking about how I was talking about my nurture sequence. And she was like, you're talking about how you have all this stuff in here, but like, I don't think you're actually helping anyone. I think you're just talking. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's like, so what can they like do or understand or know or have done so that they're actually like understanding how you can help them? I was like, oh. So as soon as she said that, it really like had like a light bulb moment. And so that's kind of how I approached that nurture sequence build up, was like, give them some stuff. You're not going to give them the whole program. You're just going to help them with little bitty bits along the way so that they start to understand what it could be like working with you. Because remember, they're also thinking to themselves, like, what's in this for me? Like, how can I actually do this thing that this person is telling me to do? Or how can I actually solve this pain point? Like, is this person actually the person for me? So they're also have that dialogue going in their head, right? So I think it's a better way of nurturing your leads. I think it's a better way of exerting you as the authority in the space. And I think it's a better way of getting people to the point so that the pitch doesn't seem like it's so out of the blue and like random.
But that helped, just to clarify, because I have looked at email sequences before where the course creator delivered a lead magnet, but then started teaching them other things that are taught in the program. So when you say video, do you mean helping them get the result that the lead magnet promised, so to speak, or like what is that video exactly about?
Yeah. So what I would encourage y'all to do is once they download the lead magnet and then right before they go into the pitch sequence, what are like the steps they need to do or go through or understand to make it so that that pitch makes sense for them? And so that's what each video in the emails should be about.
The steps that they need to go through make the pitch make sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk me through mine?
Sure. Yeah. What's your lead magnet?
All right, off the cuff. Here we go. Lead magnet is the 7 biggest mistakes that course creators make with Facebook ads that burn through their ad spend.
Okay. And then your course is?
My course is the lead gen cheat code, the easiest way to bring in affordable quality leads without hiring a Facebook ads manager.
Okay. So the lead magnet makes sense because they're already qualified in that they're running ads. So that's great. What I would actually do, I have a slightly different suggestion for you, is each of those 7 mistakes, I would do a video on them. So I call it the I call it the teach nothing new method. So I have 2 different perspectives on nurture sequences, and I think you should do the teach nothing new. Yeah. So each email is one of those things, and in those emails, you're going to record a video that talks a little bit deeper on that concept. And throughout those videos, you can start to talk about your program. Inside the program, we do this. Inside the program, I can help you do this through this. So you're saying the name of the program, you're seeding it, you're helping them to understand, hey, like this program can actually help me with this thing. So that when you get to the pitch, they're like, oh, right, this is that thing he's been talking about.
For once, I have already done something right in my email.
Oh, good. So you've been doing that?
I do have that. Each one of those mistakes has like a 4-minute, like an actual 4-minute video of me showing the mistake and showing how to avoid them. I guess avoid the mistake or the right thing to do instead. And I do mention my course. So, all right. Look at me. Allison, if somebody wants to learn more from you about making their, let's call it email sequences, just emails in general, actually sell, what's the next step? Like, where can they find you or where can they learn more?
Yeah. So you can go to AllisonHardy.com/funnel of the month club. That's my membership, all about email marketing. Or you can send me a DM on Instagram. I'm Allison_Hardy_.
All right. I'm writing that down right now. AllisonHardy.com/funnel of the month. Funnel of the month club. All right, cool. Or DM you at your Instagram account, which both of these I will link in the descriptions below. If this was the last time that somebody ever got to hear from you, what would you say to them?
Oh my gosh.
You weren't expecting that one.
No, I wasn't. Ooh, it's a good one. I would say my piece of advice is go for it. Don't be afraid to make a change. Change is where the growth happens. And I would argue on the other side of your change and your growth is whatever you're seeking.